Everybody makes mistakes, but don't make excuses.
The video doesn't lie.
So I know it was a cover-up from the beginning.
What 50-year-old Michael Baydoun calls a cover-up has everything to do with a Detroit police officer and this red light at the very busy intersection of Schoolcraft and Telegraph in Redford Township. Now take a look at this DPD dash cam carefully and listen to the color commentary from one of Baydoun's attorneys. It's kind of long, but you need to hear it.
This is the police officer's vehicle traveling southbound on Telegraph, clearly pulling away from the vehicles in the right-hand lane, and it even seems to indicate him picking up speed here as he juts off to the left, still traveling at a high rate of speed, pulling up on Schoolcraft Road. You can see the light is clearly red at this point, and then the impact right here with Mr. Baydoun's car and shatters.
Light turned green. I proceed. Suddenly, out of nowhere, all I see is like a white flash that hit me. I probably lost consciousness for a minute or so.
The officer claimed he had his lights on. Baydoun says that's a lie.
I'm a careful driver. I have no points, no tickets. I don't drink. There was no sirens, no lights.
We're told both DPD and Redford officers showed up at the scene, and guess who was held accountable for the collision?
There was a traffic ticket actually given to Mr. Baydoun, yet he had the green light.
Baydoun was physically hurt, but even more furious at how this all went down. So he stood up and fought it and took the city of Detroit to court. And despite the video, the city fought back. During the trial, something came out that seems sort of shady, sneaky, about the Detroit officer's handwritten statement in the police report concerning these two words, and siren.
The officer from Detroit indicated that he did not write those words, and siren, in that statement, and had never seen them before until I showed them to him. The Detroit officer indicated in his testimony that he believed that it would have been the Redford officer who had written the words and siren. I think someone could probably easily tell that it was the officer's handwriting, and who else is going to have that report except the Redford officer.
But nothing ever came of that. There was no official finger pointing. However,
that ticket was dismissed without him even having to go to court, because once they saw the video, they knew they should have never gave him that ticket.
This accident happened almost 3 years ago, but the trial only lasted 3 days, and the jury only deliberated for about 2.5 hours. And late Friday evening,
the jury spoke, and over $2 million verdict.
Nobody in their right mind would exchange the dollars for health, because if you don't have health, you have nothing.
I always get flashbacks whenever I go through that intersection. There's good cops and bad cops. Some of them, they have no regards for human life, so I'm human too. They could have killed me.
you know, this story is so sad all the way around. That gentleman's life will never be the same. And then you have a city with no money that has to come up with $2 million. As far as that Detroit officer, sources tell me he was reprimanded. Monica?
Well, where does this stand right now with the city? Does it plan to appeal the settlement?
Well, you know, the spokesperson said he really couldn't talk about it. All he did say was that their legal department is weighing all of their options, and they do have 21 days to appeal the verdict.
I know it was a little difficult to tell from the video of Mr. Baydoun, but what's the extent of his injuries? I mean, how is he doing now?
Well, you know what? He says he looks a whole lot better than he feels. He said he suffered a spinal injury, he has nerve damage and chronic pain, and because of all the medication he has to take, he has an ulcer. And you know what? He's a general contractor, so a lot of that work he can't do. And he was also really active in martial arts before this happened. He's a brown belt, so he's not doing any of that either. So his life is very different because of what happened right here.
And not to mention the trauma of the accident. All right. Thanks, Andrea.
Oh, absolutely.